This is a code walkthrough video for the example file WrapperExamples.java. So let's open it up in JGrasp and take a look. Remember that a wrapper class can be used to transform the string representation of some data into the equivalent numerical value of that data. So in this example, notice that we're importing a class we haven't covered yet. This is the JOptionPane class, and it's used for pop-up GUI dialogues. We haven't covered it yet, but this is just included here as a preview. So let's talk our way through this class by running it. First of all, of course, we'll go ahead and compile it. Then we'll set a breakpoint in the margin next to main, and we'll start single stepping through it with a debugger. So first off, notice that we're setting up a string 55. We know this is a string because A, it's inside double quotes, and B, we declared it as a string up front. So we'll go through and we'll print this out, and here we've got some string concatenation going on. We've got the string and a plus and a string, and then we've got string plus string. So what we're doing in this context, because these are both strings, we're doing string concatenation. So if we execute this line, we see that as strings, 55 plus 55 is just doing this string concatenation. If we want to do some numerical calculation on this, we need to turn this string 55 into an integer 55. And remember, to do that we use a wrapper class. So if we want to turn a string into an int, we can use the integer wrapper class. And remember that the wrapper classes have parse methods which take an input string and turn it into the equivalent numerical value. Again, the wrapper classes are static methods, so we call them with the name of the class. So if we execute this, we see that this is now an integer 55. So then in this analogous print, we're going to echo out the same value, but here if we have num plus num, now we're actually doing numerical addition, not string concatenation. And if we execute that line, we see that it's, in this context, the expected 110. Moving on, this line is a preview of how to use JOptionPane, a pop-up GUI dialog, to obtain input. So we provide it a text prompt, and we'll go ahead and execute that, and we get this kind of a prompt. So it's asking for a salary. So let's say, how about 80,000? Seems like a nice starting salary, doesn't it? We'll click OK. And now we have the input from that, but notice that it's a string, str salary. So we have to turn that into a number if we want to do anything with it. So again, if we want to turn this string into a double, we'd use the double wrapper class. We'd call its parse double method, and we would provide it the string that we want to transform. And this entire expression then, when evaluated, becomes a double, as we see here. So let's execute that. Now we've got the number 80,000, and we can do calculations with it. For example, let's give ourselves a 10% raise. Wouldn't that be nice? So single stepping forward, we'll set up a 10. Now here, we're taking that 10% raise and dividing it by 100. So that's going to be 0.1. This entire right-hand side expression is going to be 1.1. And remember that we're using the arithmetic shortcut operator here, times equal. So this entire expression is the same as writing salary equals salary times this expression, or 1.1. So we're multiplying salary by 1.1 to give ourselves that 10% raise. And notice that it has changed. It's gone up by the expected 10%. And then if we print that out, we'll see the expected result. So notice that we were only able to do that because the salary that we took in from the user using a GUI input was a string, and we needed to use one of the wrapper methods and its associated parse method to turn the string into a numerical quantity for calculation. And that's all there is to using a wrapper class to convert strings, such as from GUI dialogues or pop-ups, into numerical equivalents for calculation. You'll be doing this quite a bit more in a coming assignment.